And, oops.
Did we disappear from your phone?
Where did Norm go?
Lost Norm.
Let's see here. Did he fall off? Let me look. It looks like Norm fell off. So Dan, in the interim, do you want to, let's see. Well, I'll introduce myself. I'm Tim with Sonoma Valley Visitors Bureau. Did everyone else get a chance to introduce themselves? No. Hunt, why don't you do it?
Yeah, my name's Hunt Bailey. I'm with Sonoma Valley Escapes.
Okay, and then Wendy, go ahead. You're muted, Wendy. Oh, Wendy, you're muted again. So unmute yourself.
Hi. I lost it when we were on MacArthur Place. Would you, our new GM, please introduce himself and tell us a little bit about your history? And we look forward to hearing from you and being part of the team.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll go ahead then. Milan, I'm the new GM. New in certain terms. It's been almost 3 months now. I'm glad to be here. I am German by nature, have lived all over the place and joined Sonoma from Vancouver, Canada, where I was the last 2 years with the Shangri-La Group. And great to be here. I'm sure you know a little bit about our hotel and our operation from Liddy, who's also here. And we've had a great year. We've record-breaking, quite frankly. So I think you know, as Sonoma County and the market lifts, our hotel lifts as well in terms of commercial and financial performance. So recovery has been very strong. We're very grateful for that. Many of my colleagues around the globe are not in that situation yet, and so we should feel blessed and lucky. And as we're coming to the end of the season, we are planning next year, which I have in no uncertain terms should also be a great year. There's nothing that speaks otherwise. So looking forward to working continuously on the recovery and getting ourselves in a strong position.
And love your optimism, and we all share in your growth this year, and we do hope it continues, and welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Did I miss anybody, Tim?
Yeah, I believe, well, Wendy tried to introduce herself, but she was kind of muted. So, and Wendy,
let's do to Wendy. I apologize, Wendy.
And Wendy, you're still muted. There you go. Wait, Wendy, you unmuted and then unmuted. So don't touch anything else. Good.
Okay, are we good now?
Yeah.
And I didn't ask Hunt either to speak. So would you, Wendy and Hunt, would you please introduce yourselves?
Wendy Peterson, Sonoma Valley, Jane Sonoma Cottage.
How you doing?
Hunt Bailey, Sonoma Valley Escapes.
I believe we have everybody now introduced, and I'd like to start the meeting by calling on our treasurer, Dan Parks, to update us on the financial condition of the TID.
The financial condition of the TID is getting healthier by the month. I think things are going very well from everything I can see, the reports from the city and the checks that we get. We are setting records each month now as far as how everybody's doing, occupancy, ADR. And so things look, as much as we can see into the future, look very promising. Our current bank account balance in our operating account is $258,000. We have already transferred quite a bit of the winter's advertising fund to the proper place so that Tim and company can properly allocate that and get things moving for the winter. And the unfortunate thing is that winter is coming. We know that historically, and I think this year will be very similar, we stay very strong through even the first part of November, and then we drop off and scramble for a few months until things get moving again. The other thing that I want to cover is that we have successfully updated the signature authority on our accounts. As some of you might know, our checks require 2 signatures to sign, to transfer money. Kayla Stewart was one of the 3, or let me start with Norm Krug, myself, and Kayla Stewart were the signers. Kayla has sort of resigned to move up to the ranch. And we have replaced Kayla with Chris from the lodge, and that is done, and I think that'll be very workable. Either Norm and I, or I and Chris, or 2 of the 3 of us are almost always here, if not all 3. And I think we should get a quick approval of that. If we could, if I could make a motion to approve that change in the signature authority, we'll have everything recorded properly.
I'd appreciate if you would make the motion at the end of your report, please.
Okay. Are there any other questions on where we are? I think the funds that we are receiving now indicate that, as I said, everything is going very, very well. And we just hope we can find a way to keep make this the new normal.
Dan, before you make your motion, I have a question. Is the city report with you, or is Madeline or the city manager going to present that today?
I got it, and I have the city report. I think Ryan over at the city usually sends that to Tim. I think Tim can send that out, but it's the city report, and I'm not apologizing, but it's very difficult to equate with what's really going on, because it's behind. We see a monthly check. They do things a different way. Ours is dependent on collections, their reports. So they all even out in the long run, but it's hard to find the same number on both them as the check we get for our bank account.
However, you can have that report sent out, would you please, to everyone?
I think Tim is the one to do that.
I'll send it out. I just put it in your inboxes so you've got it. And just so typically, so people know who are unaware of what report we're talking about, the city collects TOT, and it's usually on a 4 to 6 week lag for reporting. Ryan, who works in the finance department of the city, prepares the report, and we compare collections of total TOT. We also compare the 10 percentage points, which we're going to see. It's kind of confusing. You can ask me about it. Because we increased the rate of TOT a few times over the years. So the amount looks like it goes up, but to compare the accurate amount year over year, we use the 10 points again and again.
But when you look at the report, what is directly interesting to us is the sort of in the middle, it talks about the TID, and the TID has stayed has stayed the same at 2% over the years. And so is, in that sense, less confusing.
I should add that I think the latest month was August, which is a complete report, was the highest one I've seen in 5 years.
Wow,
That's good news. So
that's great.
thank you, MacArthur and the Lodge, for bringing up the RevFire and the ADR.
I think it's the highest in history. Our history is not much more than 5 years.
Yep.
Dan, at this point, would you make your motion?
Okay, I would like to move that we approve the new signature authority on the bank accounts to be Chris Wagenberg, Norm Krug, and myself. And we'll make sure that both bank accounts are updated.
May I have a second on that, please?
I will second that. This is Madeline.
Okay, Madeline, are there any questions or comments prior to taking the vote? I don't see anybody's hand being raised, so I'm going to call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Hey,
Any negatives? I hear none, so therefore, Mr. Secretary, would you record a unanimous vote?
done.
Thank you, Dan, for your report, and you look terrific coming back from Bolivia. Tim, could you take it from here? We're going to ask you to give us both the marketing report, sales marketing report, and to please discuss our situation with regard to grants. Where are we in the granting applications or inquiries?
Absolutely. Thank you. And if we're getting feedback, maybe if everyone can mute themselves, and then I don't know if it's coming back through someone's computer or not.
Yeah.
And then this is not to say you can't ask me questions. You can unmute yourself to ask questions, but I'll do that. If not, I'll try to figure out what's going on with my computer here. My apologies. So first of all, we've got an event coming up in October, end of this month, October 29th. That's Spooktacular Sonoma. That's the trick-or-treating around the plaza. It is on Friday from 3 to 5. If you are not a plaza business and you want to participate, let me know. It's just basically kids walk around and we throw candy at them. And we put non-plaza businesses by the visitor center, and you hand out candy. So typically, of course, MacArthur always hands out the best candy. So if you guys want to do that, let me know. You like that, Liddy? So that's, again, October 29th, 3 to 5 o'clock for kids 10 and under. And that's the afternoon after which all the elementary schools are already dressing up and stuff. So that'll be fun. The Lighting of the Plaza event is November 20th. That's a Saturday. Thank you, TID. You're one of the major sponsors. What's great about it is you also help prime the pump for other sponsors. So we've had a lot of sponsors come in, including MacArthur, including Lodge. We've got Spark Dispensary coming in. We've got BR Cone Winery. So we have a lot of different people coming in as sponsors. If you have any questions about that, let me know. But information about that's at sonomavalley.com/holidays.
So Tim, I'm sorry, November.
20th, Saturday, November 20th.
Thank you.
Yep, it's always the Saturday before Thanksgiving. And we like to say that we're the official kickoff to the holidays in the entire North Bay. So love it. Marketing wise, we got an email out to a tour and travel list. So meetings probably aren't coming back that quickly because the mask mandates, et cetera, et cetera. But tour and travel, for those who know, are the people that are like travel agents, the tour operators, especially domestic. I had 3 buses on the plaza yesterday coming up from cruise ships. So that was good sign, good problem to have. So we've been emailing and contacting them with the list that we have, reminding them that we're open and things like where to park, as well as where to stay when they start doing overnights. So we suspect that will start growing over time. And it's everyone from your, bus trips to your virtuoso travel agents. So it really is the whole gamut of professional tour operators. What else we got? In November, our advertising campaign begins. Norm, you asked about co-ops last time. So David, our ad buyer, it has a call next week with Visit California to go over their opportunities. So we can bring those back and decide if we want to do co-ops. But just as a quick reminder, we're going to be doing almost 100% digital this year. Easy to turn on, easy to turn off if things change. Our goal is to target people who, going back to California and the West Coast, as travel opens up, we can expand more, but we get more bang for our buck on the West Coast. And it's going to be a weird situation. If it rains a lot, that's great for the drought. It's also good for Tahoe and not as great for Sonoma, but it's good for the drought. So we're going to have to leverage that a little bit and get creative as we need to. That's the main report on that. If you guys have any questions, let me know, and then we'll sit down next month, Norm, or we can do a separate meeting just about the co-op opportunities with David Wells, who does our ad buys. For the grants, as a reminder for people who don't know, the TID in Sonoma is really neat how it's set up. A portion of the money goes towards marketing and promotions, and a portion of the money is reserved for grants for off-season events, and then a couple heritage events like the 4th of July. The granting period for that is now open. It closes at the end of the day today for the applications. And then essentially we'll sit down and rank them and bring it back to the TID, and we can allocate those funds. I've gotten about 5 applications. I had a bunch of phone calls yesterday from people who are, up against the deadline. So we're going to see a couple of new events come in, which is great. I think it's going to start priming the pump for people to start thinking about events and being creative, especially November through April when we have need. So I will bring those back to the TID for voting at the next meeting. And that's my report.
Thank you very, very much. And would you put on the agenda for next month? We'll have a discussion on the grant applications to consider those that we would want to fund. Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And you're going to have next month the information on the co-op, but I think that's something you would just send to the hotels. It's not a TID matter.
Correct. Yeah, that'll just information to pass through. So, yeah.
Right. But I think it's a very good use of our funds. Are there any comments or questions of the report that was just given by Tim?
Tim, I have a question. I was in Bolivia last weekend, and so I wasn't able to see what happened with the Vintage Festival.
Oh.
Did that go well?
It happened, and I will give major plaudits to the city because they really did a lot of heavy lifting at the last minute for that. A woman named Lisa Jansen, whom you may know, did a lot of work on that. It did happen, Dan. The good news is 2021 Vintage Festival is over. I think people had a good time. But really we can build for 2022, which was the original plan, was to kind of be a little fallow this year and go a little bigger next year. But people showed up, they retired their debt. The bands played for free. So it was great. And it was really nice of the city to step up. So it's over, Dan. It's in the rearview mirror.
Okay. No, I was sorry to miss
Keep driving.
Okay. Any other comments or questions to Tim? If not at this time, I'd ask Madeline if you and the city manager would like to take over and update us on what's happening within the city of Sonoma.
Madeline, I think you're muted.
You're mute, Madeline.
I think I'll yield to Garrett because he probably has some thoughts of his own. I have some, may not matter.
Garrett, the lady has asked you. To
Okay,
take the
thanks.
position.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. Actually, I don't have much to report. I think Broadway, you had received some emails on the status of the paving of Broadway. They're pretty close to staying on track. Ultimately, I think what happens is they'll continue paving. Oh, shoot, I don't have the schedule in front of me, but ultimately, I think the paving gets done maybe, I think in October, and then we do the striping in November. but it's pretty close to whatever emails you received in terms of the schedule. Other than that, council meetings will be switching beginning in November from Mondays, the first and third Mondays, to the first and third Wednesdays. And so that'll be a change. Other than that, I don't think there's much to report. I'm trying to think of anything else. I think the only thing is, I think, yes.
Can I ask a question? Is there any
Sure.
update on the restriping proposals on Broadway and the turning it into a bike lane?
Yes. So I think it was was that September, where the council made a decision to go with what we refer to as striping option B, which is in essence the bike lane is against the curb running from Napa to MacArthur, and then it pops out. And so you have a bike lane against the curb, and then you'll have parking. And so that's the striping plan that we have in to Caltrans. And that most likely will occur, the final striping will occur sometime in mid-November.
Has Caltrans said that they will do that, or do they make that decision? I'm sort of interested in the status.
Yes. So how it works is, yes, we have to ask Caltrans. We get, what's it called? We get some kind of encroachment permit. Right now, they've said that's unofficially fine, but we don't actually have the actual encroachment permit from them. But we anticipate we'll receive one.
Okay.
Are
Okay,
there any
well-
comments or questions on the reports from the city manager and the mayor? I have a question. Is there any status report on Darris's project on the new hotel?
Just to clarify, Garrett, that's the Sonoma Hotel project on First Street.
Right.
Yeah, my understanding, there's nothing to report on that. Although I will say you probably know much more about it than I do.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments of either the mayor or the city manager? If not, I will ask for a motion to approve the minutes of our last meeting, which was September 9th, I believe. Could I have such a motion?
So moved.
Chris, second.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Mr. Secretary, would you please note the minutes are approved unanimously as submitted? Prior to leaving the meeting, are there any comments or questions that anybody wants to discuss at this time?
Well, this is Madeline, Norm, and I would just like to let you know that they did a groundbreaking for the swimming pools at the high school. So we believe we'll be done by June 22nd. No, sorry, in June 2022. So there are 2 pools, of course, competition and also for lessons. Our goal for Sonoma Splash is to have every child in the valley swim by the 3rd grade.
That's fabulous news, and we wish you a lot of success and luck.
Thank you.
A good activity for our community. Any other comments or questions? I will ask then for a motion to close the meeting. Nobody wants to close the meeting?
I'll move it to close.
Is there a second?
Second, this is Madeline.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 I want to thank everybody again for your